A killer's daughter. We don't choose who we are. Well, some do. I didn't. I was born into a life where I had to kill for money and to survive. I learned quickly how to strangle and assassinate someone without getting caught at the age of 6. My father named me Skywaters Hamichson. That's my real name. But every school we go to, I'm forced to change it. Hayden is my brother. Well, my adopted brother. Well, I shouldn't even say adopted. Hayden is my kidnapper. Hayden's father stole me when I was only a year old, so I could produce Hayden's perfect offsprings. Hayden is now 17 and I'm 16, even though Hayden kidnapped me at a young age to help him kill, but I know in my heart Hayden loves me. I'm already pregnant with our second try. I lost the first baby after one of Hayden's victims kicked me in the stomach. We were devastated. And of course, the man paid dearly. He couldn't see after what happened. We were devastated, but any day now we'd be blessed with a baby girl or boy. How you doing, Buttercup? Hayden asked as he drove our yellow Jeep through the mountains. Okay, our little hunter is a kicker, I said, smiling as I rubbed my large stomach. Hayden smiled at me and softly patted my stomach and then held my hand close to his heart and kissed it. So, who's our victims today? I asked, smiling. You'll love this. We're hunting down 3 dealers and 5 pedophiles. I smiled brightly as I looked at the road ahead. Sounds fun, I said, grinning. Sure is. You get the best part, Buttercup. You get to find the burial spots to hide our lovely dead. Really, Denny? You are the best brother ever, I said, squealing as I kissed Hayden on the cheek. And you are the best girlfriend ever, Hayden told me, smiling. Ever since Hayden and I started dating, he gave me the fun job of killing. I get to mark our victims with a black widow. It was pretty easy, due to I've always had a fascination with those kinds of spiders. Making the mark, though, was pretty tricky. But I love watching Hayden cut them up, limb by limb, after he drains each of them of their blood. We keep the blood, of course, so I can use it to make chocolates, just like Hayden's mother taught me how. We feed the candy to our next victims, so they can eat each other, just like the animals they truly are. Here we are, announced Hayden, interrupting my train of thought. Is that a warehouse with a forest and stream next to it? I asked, excited. Hayden looked at me, his gray eyes twinkling against his golden dirty blonde hair and light brown summer tan. I love you, Hayden Gravestone, I said. Hayden held me close and kissed my forehead as he pushed away my curly blonde hair with red streaks. I love you too, Skywaters. I fell in love with your soft hands, button nose, light blue eyes, and cute, short, slender figure. I smiled and stared down at my large stomach. A long time ago, I could stare down at my flip-flops and painted blue toes. Now, every time I looked down, I saw my large belly hidden under my jersey and bleached shorts. I can't wait to show you the cabin. Oh, and the treehouse I built for the baby. A treehouse? I asked. Just like the one I built you, remember? I stared at Hayden. His smile could melt butter. It's why I loved him. The way he talked. The way he got excited over such adorable things. We got into the Jeep and drove down a dirt road. When we finally got there, I slowly got out of the Jeep and looked at the cabin. It was like a mansion. Hayden took my hand and intertwined it with his. Now, over there is the treehouse, and wait till you see the inside in the nursery. Oh, Sky, you're gonna flip when you see the nursery, Hayden told me excitedly. I loved when Hayden talked about things he loved. It revealed the inner child inside of him. Even when he talked about his victims, it was that spark in his eyes that had made me fall in love with him so much. We walked into the cabin and I gasped. It was gorgeous. There was a fireplace, a shelf filled with books for both me and the baby on how to kill and properly drain blood, and even books on Morse code. We walked into the baby's room and my eyes began to water. It was perfect. A sunny yellow, and the crib was so old-fashioned, with the blankets inside were so soft. Oh, Hayden, it's perfect, I squealed. I knew you'd love it. I've been thinking of names for the baby, Hayden told me as he held me close. What are they? For a boy, Wilbur Tobias, and for a girl, Primrose Marie. I smiled and kissed Hayden. I love them, and I know our baby will too, I gushed. Hayden smiled and kissed me, then took his camera and drove away, leaving me alone in the big house. Hayden was going to go and watch our victims. It was a ritual. Take pictures, study them, and then kill. I sat down in a rocking chair and began to rock and hum while I rubbed my stomach. I suppose I must have fallen asleep because when I woke up, I was starting to smell marshmallows. Good morning, or should I say, good evening, joked Hayden as he roasted a marshmallow. I smirked and got up and ate one greedishly. As I was finishing my last marshmallow, I could feel my water breaking. Hayden, it's time, I said, scared. We drove to the hospital. And lost my spot. Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys. You're doing great, Buttercup, Hayden told me encouragingly. I smiled. I could see the fear in his eyes, because, like so many, he couldn't hide it well. We made it to the hospital, and I was rushed into the delivery room. At 11:05 p.m., Primrose Marie Waters was born. I watched as Hayden cooed and rocked her, never letting her go. She has your eyes, I whispered as I held Primrose. But your rebellious spirit, Hayden joked as he held Prim's little hand. I watched as he slowly crawled into bed with me and held me close as we stared down at our little miracle. We sat and watched as she opened her eyes and yawned. The stillness was peaceful and quiet. But sadly, it did not last. Hayden Gravestone, you are under arrest for murder and kidnapping, the police officer said as he barged into the room. I watched in horror as my Hayden was taken away and handcuffed. What are you doing? He's innocent! I cried as I struggled to calm Prim down. I waited for what seemed like hours until a police officer came in and sat down. I wished that it was only a joke, that Hayden would come back laughing and kiss me as he always did. Who are you? Where's Hayden? You can't take him away from us, I cried, tears streaking my face. My name is Detective Connors. I just want to ask you a few questions. I sighed and watched as she looked at me. I slowly put Prim in her bed and watched her sleep. Can you tell me your name? Sky Waters. I'm 16. I said angrily. How do you know Hayden? His parents saved me when I was 1 year old. Hayden is my boyfriend and also, in another way, my brother. His parents saved me from my abusive father and drug dealer mother, who was addicted to every kind of drug when she had me, I said defensively. Hayden had warned me about officers of the law. He had always told me, they try to get in your head, scramble words. Don't let them do that. You've got to be tough, stay strong, and don't let them see you be weak. I wished Hayden was with me right now. I missed him, and I was worried any minute I would crack and say what they wanted me to say. You don't know who you are, do you? I am Sky Waters. I am 16, I told her. No, you're not. You are Penny Figaro, a brainwashed little girl who was forced to do things she wasn't ready to do and should never have to do. The detective looked at me with sadness in her eyes. I did those things, and even if I didn't, you're not taking away my baby. I cried as I grabbed Prim from her bed and held her close to my chest. We won't, I promise. But Hayden will go away for a very long time for his actions. But he's Prim's father. I need him. I can't raise a baby on my own. I cried angrily. You have a family and a brother who miss you and want you home. I'm not this Penny girl, you know. Penny doesn't exist. She died. And Sky Waters took her place. Detective Connor stared at me and held my hand in hers and stared into my eyes. I think that Penny is still in you. We just need some help getting her back. I shrugged her off, knowing that life would not be as simple as it once was. 2 weeks after I left the hospital, I went to the police station with Prim, with the company of a police officer in his car. When Detective Connors saw me, she smiled. "Good to see you, Skye," Detective Connors said cheerfully. I glared at her. Cheerful people made me sick. The way she mocked me wasn't any better. "Hello, Connors," I muttered dryly. "Why did you call me in?" I asked, unamused, as I held Primrose in my arms. All of a sudden, I heard a woman gasp behind me, with 2 other people muttering words behind my back. "Penny?" I heard a voice whisper behind me. It can't be," I muttered, a second, filled with shock. I turned around slowly and saw a man and a woman, tears in their eyes, and beside them, a boy who looked almost 1 year older than me. "Mom? Dad?" I asked as tears stung my eyes. "Penny!" shouted the woman as she stretched out her arms. I handed Detective Connors Prim, and then ran into the woman's arms and hugged her, feeling my family's warm embrace once again. "I missed you guys so much," I said as Connors handed me Primrose. My mother gasped, and so did my father when they saw my little daughter. My father smiled down at me as he held Primrose in his arms. "Let's go home," he said, tears in his eyes. I never heard from Hayden, and I never found out what happened to him. But I do know one thing. I will never let him come near my daughter again.